Okay, in light of a lot of criticisms of Donald Trump, some of them are valid. You know, the man is just a human being and the presidency is just a job. But some of it is exaggeration, some of it is speculation, some of it is supposition, and some of it is just invented whole cloth by our biased media. Don't believe me. We live in the internet information age. You should go check it out for yourself. So, in light of all that, is there anything objectively we can point to about having a President Joe Biden would be tragic to the existence of our country? Well, I'd like to point out to people that there is something called the nuclear football. Do you ever see these doctor's bags, these old-time doctor's bags, or giant leather case, and they have like metal spring-loaded openings? They snap open, and you can reach in, and the doctors can pull out his stethoscope. Well, the President of the United States has a group of both FBI agents and Secret Service agents that carry with them, wherever the president goes, a case like that. What is inside that case is largely classified, but we do know that they contain a long paper strip on which is printed a long series of numbers and letters. And if there's a preemptive strike against the United States, the president is, whatever he's doing is grabbed and taken aside, and they open up the nuclear football and they say, this thing's gone off, you have to read and decide what to do. And the president alone decides what to do. And part of that decision would involve reading out these numbers and letters in some sort of telephone, for lack of a better term, radio transmission device, to potentially to a nuclear submarine, where they would have a corresponding code that they would hear. And it would have to be read in precise order as a failsafe to prevent it from being hacked and having a Trident submarine or other types of submarines launch nuclear weapons. It has to be read. The captain, the CO of the submarine would have to verify it. Then the XO of the submarine would have to verify it. They would have two separate keys and they have to turn up at the same time. Now, I don't see Joe Biden doing that. And especially, forget about his cognitive ability, I don't see him willingly do that if the attacker is China. Because he would be more interested in saving his skin or working in I don't know, I don't want to go too far off the rails and get into conspiracy theories, but there's an argument to be made that Joe Biden would be more interested in hiding it out in a bunker than shooting a retaliatory strike against China. There are plausible reasons why that might actually happen. Now, forget all about the nuclear strikes. Just deciding what an intelligent course of action or response is something I can't imagine Joe Biden having the aptitude and the mental fortitude to handle, because he would have to decide right then on what to do. And as the American public has chosen him to be their guide and make that decision, we would be at fault as a country. It would be us, the blame we put on us for putting him in that position that he can't handle. So they talk about whether or not Israel has a right to exist. When those debates I've had with Palestinians, I've brought up the fact, well, does Palestine have a right to exist because of what they did in Munich? Would we have the right to exist if we appoint Joe Biden to be the commander-in-chief? I got to hide this because I look at the camera instead of keep looking at myself. What was I getting at? All right, so all of the debates I've ever had with Democrats fall apart when I ask them, what do you think the skills are that require someone to be the President of the United States? Or I ask them, what do you think the job of President of the United States is? And I had a very interesting and revealing conversation on Twitter with some, I assume, woman, who knows, her name could have been an alias, where she said that, well, Joe Biden's a good leader. But I found out her idea of a leader is a father figure, someone who looks good. And Joe Biden has this, I'm watching a Joe Biden video over here and get close to that. Joe Biden has this, what's regarded as a superpower, because he's had personal tragedies in his life that in a national emergency or a mass shooting, he's able to connect on an emotional level to people. That's not part of the job. That's not a job requirement of a president. You might think of it as a leader, but more of a spiritual leader than a president. The office of the President of the United States was created with a general in mind to fill that slot, that seat. And that general is George Washington. Commander-in-Chief means Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. For that reason, Obama was not really qualified to be president. He had no military experience. And when he was elected, I wrote a good blog, and I can't find it anymore because the nature of the internet, people update and release and they archive their web forums. But I said, I think we're screwed because even though it's great that we have a black guy as president, and I think young black people need to have that image to aspire to look up to, I think that's a good thing. But I think we're screwed. I think we have a president who has no aptitude for military command. And I was right. It actually shook out worse or pretty much along the lines of my predictions. I couldn't foresee precisely the future, but I think I was right in my saying that we were screwed. Now you could say, "Oh, I know what the anti-Trumpers are going to say." Does that say, "Well, Trump is a draft dodger for the Vietnam War"? Man, not going to a war that I'm sure they would have also accredited to not being a just war or unpopular war. That's just nuts. What is kept out of the media and the public knowledge is the fact that Donald Trump went to military school. He was trained in military school. And I didn't even know this until I was just, looking through this, there's one of these, you ever see these websites that go, look at Trump at an earlier age and click next, that kind of thing. And there are all these photos from military academy, and I had to look it up, and he went to some New York military school. Joe Biden hadn't done anything like that. Joe Biden isn't qualified to be commander-in-chief of the military. Even on his best days, even if you look back at his peak, he wouldn't be qualified. He has a career of selling people out. He has a career of only being in the game for himself. When his son got out of college, his son got his nice job at the world's greatest credit card company. All of a sudden, Joe Biden's policies and the things that he was pushing for was favorable to credit card companies at the expense of the American people. Do I have to be the guy that tells you all this stuff? Someone can make the argument, Bill, I got to write a book or else Joe Biden's going to win. Well, if the American public is so misinformed and deluded that it takes me to actually tell them the truth, maybe the country's lost and it doesn't deserve saving, What else? Oh, the list is endless. Why Joe Biden's not qualified? He doesn't understand the Second Amendment. He doesn't understand it. He even told that auto worker, you don't have the right to own any weapon. And he's going to put his hand on the Bible and swear to uphold the Constitution. Well, the amendments to the Constitution are part of the Constitution. Come on, man. Come on.